The Titanic Immersive Voyage experience is in Denver right now, and it's completely different than other immersive experiences that have been in Denver in the modern era. Compared to things like the Van Gogh and Disney immersive experiences, it might not be what you expect, so I'm gonna show you what it's like from start to finish so you can decide if it's for you. If you saw an ad for this Titanic experience on social media or something and can't seem to get it again, I'll link to where you can buy tickets at the top of the screen and in the description. Also, before we went, I was wondering if it'd be terrifying for kids. We brought our 4-year-old and 2-year-old, so I'll let you know how it went. In Denver, the Titanic experience is at the exhibition hub, same place as Bubble Planet, Immersive Van Gogh, and things like that. Right when you enter, you'll fill out a waiver and take a picture in front of a green screen if you want a picture of you and your friends in front of the Titanic. There are other photo ops that you can do yourself during the experience, but if you want to take that picture, up to you. If you have VIP tickets, you can skip the line, but one thing I would recommend for everyone to do is get a ticket for a real person who was on the Titanic. Don't skip that part. It says their name, a little bit about them, if they were in first class, second class, or a crew member. It'll make more sense as we keep going, and you'll want to keep that card till the end. You enter the experience with one of the better photo ops that shows what a big deal the Titanic was in 1912 with a collection of ads and other things on the walls. And of course, they reference the movie, they get that out of the way right from the beginning. For any younger people watching, give your parents and others some grace if they stand on the railing and yell, "I'm the king of the world!" or they put their arms out and say, "I'm flying, Jack," while humming Celine Dion. That movie was a really big deal. Many of us went on dates to that movie, some people went like 10 times, so give us our moment here and we'll stop, I promise. And then you quickly realize that this is as much a really cool museum exhibit about the Titanic as it is an immersive experience. At most modern immersive experiences, you usually just sit in a big room and have stuff projected 360 degrees around you, or you're just walking in a straight linear path. Here you'll see what steamboat routes were like back then, check out a to-scale model of the Titanic, and look at photos and blueprints of arguably the most famous ship in history. Okay, and before people get mad at me and say something like Noah's Ark, I'll say modern history. Also, when you're interacting with the screens, don't use them like an iPad, so don't like pinch and drag and stuff, just tap stuff. It'll work a lot better. Just like you're at a museum, on the walls throughout the experience, you'll get a little bit more context for the things that you're looking at. If you didn't already, you really start to appreciate all of the work that went into the Titanic being the largest passenger ship in the world at that time. The photos alone are pretty amazing to look at, so if you or someone in your family or group is really into history, they'll love this. And not to ruin the mood, but you'll also learn about the iceberg and why it was so huge. If you are a Titanic fanatic or just paid more attention in school than I did, you might know a lot of this info, but I learned a lot. If you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a like to help more people learn about this Titanic immersive experience. And if you decide that this is for you, please remember to buy tickets using the link at the top of the screen or in the description. It's a great way to support the channel. Now back to the video. Then it's time to get on the ship and launch out to sea. To me, it was amazing to read about what a big event it was. It was so big that people were buying tickets just to watch the Titanic launch for the first time. And before you get on the Titanic, you can look up the person on your ticket to learn a little bit more about them. The screen was struggling a little bit and literally crashed while I was looking up my person, but they got it back up and running pretty quick. Walking onto the Titanic, our 4-year-old thought this was really cool. He asked if we were really getting on the ship.
You sure?
And here's where your visit goes from more museum to a more unique immersive experience. You walk through hallways that are recreations of what it looked like on the Titanic. And you can see what the bedrooms, dining rooms, and finishes look like for different classes of passengers. Going back to that ticket, you can follow what your person's experience on the Titanic was probably like, and it helps bring it more to life for you. And if you really think about it and put yourself in that person's shoes, it's hard not to get a little emotional when you think about how so much anticipation and excitement turned so quickly. And if you don't want those emo vibes, just don't think about it. You'll also see the famous staircase from the Titanic, which was somehow never officially photographed, but apparently it was exactly the same on the Olympic, the sister ship to the Titanic. This is the last really good photo op during the experience, so if you didn't do that "I'm the king of the world" thing, take the photo right here. Also, as you're going from room to room, you'll see some historic artifacts that really show what it was like on board. Okay, things are about to get a little dark, but we all know where this is going. And if this is somehow a spoiler about the Titanic, I'm sorry, but someone should have told you. After this, you get behind the wheel of the Titanic and start to see the timeline of events before the unsinkable ship sank. From warnings about the icebergs to communication between ships, it gets pretty real. You can see exactly where the Titanic was on its journey and even go into the crow's nest to see what someone would have seen up there as the ship was approaching the iceberg. And if you do that, don't forget to look up and ring the bell so that you can alert people of what you're seeing in front of you. After the ship can't avoid the iceberg, this is where things might get a little scary for younger kids. Our 4-year-old was fine overall, but the mood gets darker and our 2-year-old could definitely tell and was saying things like, "I don't like this." And ultimately he was fine, it's just like some scarier music and the rooms are darker and stuff. You start to see some of the chaos that was happening inside the ship, from the engine room to the beautiful hallways you walk through filling up with water. And not literally, you're not gonna get wet, it's in video form. And after you just saw how beautiful it was inside the ship and how much work went into it, I'm not gonna lie, it feels heavy seeing it all be destroyed. And really, it should when over 1,500 people died, but it feels more personal, especially if you're following your person's journey. When you go behind the curtain into the next room, this is what most people would expect this immersive experience to actually be like. You see the Titanic and you also see messages that it was exchanging with other ships that were in the area after it hit the iceberg. You can stand on the back wall or sit in a lifeboat that's in the middle of the room and see what happened to the Titanic from the perspective of being in the ocean. It's pretty powerful to see all different parts of the ship filling up with water, and you're also seeing other lifeboats and people floating in the ocean. None of it is gruesome. It's not like you're hearing intense screaming and chaos. It's not like a Saving Private Ryan kind of thing, but you know what's happening. After you've been going through the experience for maybe 60 to 90 minutes total, seeing the Titanic sink does something to you. There's no Jack and Rose cameo here, but it did help me better understand how cold the water was and why that "I'll never let go" thing kind of made sense. Just reading the words on the screen, you're pretty immersed in what's happening in front of you, and if you have younger kids who can't read, they probably won't experience it the same way. As you might expect, that immersive room is definitely the emotional climax of the experience. It's sobering, really sad in parts, but I also learned a lot about the Titanic. And I think that can really separate this from other immersive experiences where you're just sitting there and watching something or walking through and enjoying the lights and stuff that are happening around you. This is more like a cool traveling museum exhibit or just a very memorable field trip. There's also a VR experience if you have VIP tickets, or you can buy it as an add-on. The people working suggested not having our 4-year-old do it because they said that it can be a little disturbing for kids 6 and under because you go under the water and you can kind of guess what happens. And while our kids did make it through the regular experience just fine, I didn't want to push our luck, and I didn't want to do it because if I do it, obviously they're gonna want to do it, and you know, that's a whole thing. I would have loved to see it, but I can convince myself it was the right call. So remember those tickets with your person's name on them? You're gonna want to pull those out again so you can see if your person survived. There's a clear structure in the middle of the next room where you can look for your person by class of ticket to see if they survived or died. One of the most interesting parts about this room for me was seeing the very granular information they had about the lifeboats. They had the capacity, when they left the ship, and more information like that. I have no idea how they got all of that info, but it was very fascinating to see. And I know that this video has been a little heavier than most, but if it makes it any better, 3 out of the 4 people on our tickets did survive, but one person still died, and that was my person. If you feel moved to do it, there's an area where you can write what the Titanic means to you. You might be able to tell by my shirt, but I was 13 when the Titanic movie came out, and I honestly didn't remember a lot of the details from it. But I did have friends who felt that movie deeply, and for the people who lost their lives that day. I think a lot of people will have a similar reaction to this experience. A lot of immersive experiences are pretty mindless, but this one will teach you something, and it'll kind of stick with you. If you're interested in other immersive experiences like this, here are a couple videos that I've done on them, and here's where you can find tickets to this Titanic Immersive experience in Denver, or you can search in your city. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on another video.